South Carolina Gamecocks are 1-0 to start the 2022 season as they defeated Georgia State 35-14 last Saturday night. And joining me to break all of that action down is Locked On Gamecocks podcast host Andrew Lyon. Andrew, you came on our kickoff special and you said special teams Beamer Ball 2.0 was going to play a big part of this team, and then literally right on cue, Beamer Ball was in full effect. So what were your thoughts on the Gamecocks performance Saturday, particularly the special teams unit?
Well, I'll start off with the special teams unit, Chandler. And yeah, Beamer Ball was a big reason why the Gamecocks won this game. Obviously, whenever you block 2 punts and return them both for touchdowns, those were huge momentum swings in this game for the Gamecocks. Kai Kroger was able to go at punter this past Saturday night, coming back from that foot injury that he was dealing with all fall camp. And it doesn't seem like that foot's bothering him pretty much anymore, as he averaged, I believe, 49 yards per punt on 7 punts, including a 79-yard bomb Saturday night, flipping the entire field on one particular play. And then Mitch Jeter, that kicker position battle looks like it might be over now because he hit 2 50-plus yard field goals. So overall, a solid night for the special teams unit. On the offensive side, was a little bit of a mixed bag. We saw some good and bad from multiple positions on the field. Spencer Rattler, I thought, made some wow type throws, really showing why he's been so highly touted for so many years now, but also made a couple of head scratching throws. I think that he can get that corrected with a little more time with these guys in live games. Running back unit, I think, looks really solid with Marshawn Lloyd and Juju McDowell. Of course, they'll be hoping to see Christian Bill Smith come back this coming week against the Arkansas Razorbacks. Up front's got to play a little bit better, but again, they'll have time to get that corrected. Defensively, thought they did well. They really were quite stingy overall against this Georgia State rushing attack, which again had a lot of production coming back from the 2021 team that they had. So to see them really try to make the Panthers earn it, I think that that really helped us separate ourselves from the Georgia State Panthers at the end of the day, helping the Gamecocks to seal the win.
Facts, man. Couldn't agree more. And then going back to the special teams unit, Kai Kroger, he won the Ray Guy National Punter of the Week award. And then Mitch Jeter, you mentioned him. He became the only Gamecock to hit 2 50-plus yard field goals in a game in the team's history. So, yeah, like you said, that kick battle might be over now. Going back to Spencer Rattler, I mean, you touched on it, a bit of an up and down performance. He completed 23 of his 37 passes. I think he threw for just over 220 yards and a touchdown, but he also threw 2 interceptions. How would you evaluate his first start as a Gamecock quarterback?
Well, again, I think that Spencer could have done better in a few certain areas. While I wasn't able to see maybe what was going on down the field at all times during the game, there was a few times where I felt like he sort of sat back in the pocket a little too long when he actually had some time to throw the ball. And of course, while I don't want to put it all on the offensive line, there were times where there was some pressure. You also got to give credit to Georgia State. I think they really queued up some real solid blitzes off the edge against Spencer Rattler, which really forced him to have to get out of the pocket. And that sort of led to some of those inaccurate throws. And I think that, again, Spencer just needs to build up a little bit more time, a little bit more reps in these live games against other teams with this group of skilled position players that he has, because, again, the talent is there. And, while there are maybe some causes for concern on the offensive side of the ball, I think this coaching staff, with some more time, could try to find a way to scheme around that and really try to unlock Spencer Rattler's potential a lot more as we get into some of these bigger games as the season progresses.
For me, I was a little surprised by the players that Spencer threw the ball to. I mean, we figured Jaheim Bell was going to be a big part of this offense. Figured Marshawn Lloyd was going to be a big part of this offense. But threw the ball a lot to Antoine Wells and also Jalen Brooks. Jalen Brooks led the team in receiving yards, and Wells, I think he led the team in receptions. Were you surprised by that at all? Did you expect them to get the ball to Josh Vann a little bit more, or any of the other weapons that we heard so much about in the preseason?
I won't lie, Chandler, I was a little bit surprised at sort of how everything divvied out in terms of who had the most receptions and receiving yards. Obviously, it's great to see Jalen Brooks making the plays that he made after going through some things off the field this past season. He had to leave, I believe, halfway through the 2021 season, was gone all the way through, I believe, the summertime where he returned to the football team. So great to see him make some of those plays. He made some really big time catches that he deserves a lot of credit for in this ball game that really helped us extend some drives. And then Antoine Wells, I thought he did a great job on sort of those on some of those unorganized chaos type plays where Spencer had to roll out of the pocket and he had to find somebody. And, they drill this all the time in practice if you're a wide receiver. And I thought Antoine Wells was a big help in that regard. It was a bit disappointing to see Josh Fanning and Xavier Legette maybe not be more involved. Again, there could have been multiple factors that led to that, in fairness to those guys. And, again, it's game one, still got 11 games to go in the regular season. So obviously the staff's still going to have plenty of time to maybe try to work out some of those kinks as we get into the Arkansas game and further along into the season.
All right, going right off of that, let's dive into the Arkansas game. How do you think the Gamecocks stack up against the Razorbacks? Razorbacks coming in 16th in the country on Saturday. So, yeah, how do you think the Gamecocks stack up against them? And what will South Carolina, what will they have to do to beat Arkansas on Saturday?
Well, obviously, Arkansas is going to be a big test. They do have the home field advantage over in Fayetteville. They got a really physical football team. That's the first thing that jumps out to me when watching this Arkansas Razorback team. Sam Pittman and this staff has done a great job of really developing the talent that they inherited on this roster and adding to it as well. They got some really solid playmakers on offense. You talk about, of course, KJ Jefferson, their big-time quarterback, who some people call Cam Newton, or maybe a poor man's version of Cam Newton, maybe not have the same speed, but he's a guy that can bulldoze over any defender that he runs into. Raheem Rocket Sanders, he is a solid running back as well. And then you got guys like Jadon Hazelwood and Matt Landers over at wide receiver. So they got some weapons out there, but they pride themselves on the running game first and foremost. That is going to be what Arkansas is going to try to do, wear down the defense over the course of the game. Defensively, the same kind of deal. They try to be real physical up in the defensive front. They'll try to really stop you on early downs in different drives. And then, of course, they'll try to make you really have to thread the needle on third down. They like to bring some real heavy blitzes. They'll have, sometimes 6, 7 guys that'll try to get after the quarterback, really force you to make some errant throws. So essentially, they're going to try to dictate the pace of this game. They're going to try to really dictate the ground game, both on offense and defense. If South Carolina wants to win this game, they cannot allow Arkansas to get out to a fast start. They cannot allow them to dictate the tempo that this game has. If they do, it could be a long day in Fayetteville. But if they can keep this game close at halftime, maybe even go into the third quarter with a lead, then I think they can maybe get Arkansas out of their comfort zone a little bit, and they can make this game quite interesting by the end.
The rushing game with Arkansas, that's a big part of their offense. 224 yards on 45 carries against Cincinnati last Saturday in that win. So, yeah, Gamecocks stopping the run. That's going to be a pivotal part of this game. All right, Andrew, thanks so much, man. If people want to listen to the Locked On Gamecocks podcast, how can they do that?
You can go on to YouTube or wherever you listen to your audio podcasts daily. Just search up Locked On Gamecocks podcast, and you will find me there. I have my shows come out every single morning, Monday through Friday. We talk about the South Carolina Gamecocks every single day throughout the week. So be sure to come check me out this week, and I'll be previewing the Arkansas game all the way up through Friday.